Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. And Kyle.
Yes, sir.
I think you know that a self-destruct mechanism is something that is used to destroy an object and render itself inoperable after a predefined set of circumstances has occurred.
It kind of is in the name. Self-destruct sequence.
Did I explain something that was
destroy itself?
Obvious?
I'm saying some things are tough to understand, but self-destruct
when does that ever stop me?
Self-explanatory.
That happens. Okay,
go on, please.
No, I mean, look. You know, when I did a little research on this, and I found this was interesting. Best self-destruct sequences in film.
Oh, okay.
Now, a lot of people put. I don't know why this is. I like Armageddon. It's not. I mean, it hasn't aged entirely well. It's a perfectly fine movie. Not really a self-destruct sequence because there's a guy there to press the button. So I wouldn't necessarily call that. You could Mission Impossible, everything from the glasses to the messages, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I think we could all agree one of the funniest self-destruct sequences in movies is Spaceballs, right? When he gets thrown into the button and it's the big red button. Okay. Mm-hmm. Alien. We know that. Mm-hmm. I think maybe one of the best ones I can remember from my childhood is Predator. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, when the Predator goes and blows himself up there at the end, Arnold Schwarzenegger. But OK, to me, the best film self-destruct sequence is the one that ends with 0, 0, 0, destruct. 0. And of course, I'm talking about Star Trek 3, the destruction of the Enterprise.
Oh, Star Trek. Sorry. For some reason, my head went Star Wars 3. Like, when did Revenge of the Sith is there? Star Trek 3. Yes. Okay. Yeah. 100%.
And that was that's my horrible James T. Kirk impersonation. But I always think that's funny. One, it's to me the best self-destruct sequence in a movie because, it's the emotional pulling of seeing this iconic ship get destroyed. You see what it does, the great response of Christopher Lloyd's Klingon character and, get out of there and all this stuff happens. But it always still cracks me up that the code is 3 zeros destruct 0. Like, pick a better pin, man.
Right. That's the same combination I have on my luggage.
Stop. Like, you don't know. What are you doing? Anyway, well, there's that. And there's something else we'll talk about in this minute, but self-destruct sequences.
Because Tony Stark is keeping New Jersey glaziers in business here in minute 112 of Iron Man 2 from 2010, director Mr. Jon Favreau. And so we pick up where we left off, which is in mid-explosion, I guess. Like the repulsor beams have met, as we saw, it causes a catastrophic explosion. So the two of them are doing it right in front of Ivan's face.
Yeah, I mean, he's dead, right?
Yeah, clearly. I mean, we saw how much destruction did to Tony Stark's house, and this is a guy's face, his unshielded face.
Exactly.
Right? So, no, it turns out it doesn't. So, it explodes. All the glass in the entire Oracle Dome shatters.
Right.
They come back, and the guys are stand up. So basically Tony and Rhodey get back up and they're beaten up. I mean, I like that they really show the destruction on the suits. They show where the whips had impacted them. They both have these massive gashes on the suit. So they get up and no, Ivan's fine. He's just his suit's a little smoky and that's about it. He's fine. So
what? Now again, we talked about in the previous minute. I realized this was the 11th hour solution to the end of the movie.
Yes.
You've clearly shown, nice callback, a nice idea to bring back something that was part of their fight, their big fight in the middle of the movie, to now being something that is a way to fully bring them back together by taking that moment, and now it becomes their victory, right? So I like that. I love the whole concept of how that fits together. Okay, this was seen as an incredibly destructive force. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird the way the effects go. It's not clear. I don't think it blows out all the glass in the dome because it doesn't. You don't see that necessarily in the effect. But I mean, it's incredibly destructive.
Yeah,
it's right in front of his face.
Yeah,
and when
if enough to blow out all the windows, and those are not thin candy glass.
No.
Like these are double glazed. I mean, like, really thick because they're high up. So this is like safety glass. This is like the stuff they put on the top of 10-story buildings. I mean, like
even the
glass.
Even the glass in Tony's house, that was not like double pane glass. No, that was like serious glass. His suit's like kind of broken on the left. Yeah.
But interestingly, Rob, you have actually made 2 points in the last 2 minutes of things that are absolutely 100% true in this sequence that I learned from the commentary. The first one is, why did he flip the mask off? He had a speech.
Oh.
Ivan originally had that's right, you lost everything, I have taken from you blood, like blah, blah, everything. And basically, they just cut it all out. So it just becomes, you'll lose. That's his last line. But apparently he had a whole, villainous monologue of like, that's right, Tony, after I do this, I will go over and I will cut Pepper's hair off, and then I will take your cars and drive them into the ocean. I have no idea what the actual substance of the speech was.
I mean, what is he going to say? Like, I need you to stand here until the self-destruct sequence, which, by the way, incidentally, has large flashing red light and a large beepy sound.
Right. So that is an homage to Predator.
Well, yes.
The point you made in the opening, I was like, that's exactly what Favreau said. Is an homage to Predator. So the question is, when you have this thing, and you have Ivan like, okay, well, there's my backup plan in the case this fails. Flashing red light, and then everything's going to blow up. Why is there a flashing red light? Why is there a countdown before the explosion? The answer is the coconut effect. So the coconut effect describes any sound effect, special effect, or design feature that is unrealistic, but still has to be included because viewers have been so conditioned to expect it that its absence would be even more jarring. That comes from tvtropes.org. I started looking at this because I'm like, this has been around forever. And it turns out, yes, it's been around forever. Like, ever since there have been bombs, there have been flashy red lights and thing on there. But because it's so ingrained, if you don't have it, it's weird. And the coconut effect comes from, that's the sound of horses. So horses, like, they mocked it in Monty Python, but there's a reason for that, is because when you see horses on screen, you expect...
Yeah, right.
You expect that to be the sound.
Right.
And if they don't have it, it's like, something's wrong. Something's weird about that. And they go over the list of all these things, like whenever a sword is pulled from a scabbard, it goes shing. Like, no. Right. Anyone who uses a sword will tell you that's a bad thing. Like, a sword should make no sound coming out because silent. The idea is, to keep it from being damaged by being against any metal or anything on the side. And they go, there's a whole list of these, from lens flares, sorry, JJ, all these things that when they're taken away, it's weird because we're so used to it being wrong. Like the fact that car tires squeal every time they make a turn, even when they're on dirt.
Right.
Like there's nothing. Right. So the same thing here. If he just went, haha, and boom, blew it up. Yeah, you just don't get the same.
No. Okay.
The thing. So you have to have the red flashing light.
And this is audible, and visible, right? Yes, cues.
Exactly.
Okay. So I love this for a lot of reasons in that. Well, I love that you brought attention to it. And I do love the fact that it is a Predator homage.
Yes.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
It would have been awesome if it had.
Do we need to talk about Predator for people who don't know? Like the end of Predator? Because it's the end of Predator. I mean, do we assume that everyone who's listening
don't spoil
watched
it.
Predator?
Wait, hold on a second. If you haven't seen the original Predator.
Yeah, from 1987.
We're not talking about don't
right,
mess
directed by
with
John
the
McTiernan, as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers,
Jesse
Shane
Black.
Okay, well, first of all, let's tie it back to the MCU. Why do you need to see a Predator? Because it's one of the only acting appearances of Shane Black, who would go on to direct Iron Man 3.
Oh my God! Yes,
he had the grenade launcher. Like he's one of the guys in the group.
Okay,
I have a lot to say about Predator, but I'm going to keep it.
Go see Predator.
Yeah, if
you haven't, and just remember, it is a hard R.
Yeah, it's a hard R.
So you know.
Right.
Okay, so I love the homage that's here, right?
Yes.
In that sequence. However, if this were real, there would be none of that, and he would just go, "You lose." No. Boom.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Explode, right? Like there'd be
Don't give him a chance.
Be like, what? Boom.
Yeah.
so there's that. Do you know what though? I kind of laughed at this, and we can talk about this now because we're at the time we're recording.
Yeah.
You know what I immediately thought of when I watched the sequence?
What?
The toaster in WandaVision.
Yeah, the flashing red light. Yeah.
You almost wish there was a backstory here where Ivan had talked to Wanda Maximoff, and Wanda Maximoff like would have told him all about the stories about how much I hate Tony Stark because I sat in my bombed out room watching that missile beep, 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 right?
Uh-huh.
And he goes, oh, well, if I ever meet him, trust me, I will make it up to you. And so he
well, Rob, I don't know if you know this, but Ivan's mother is from Sokovia.
Oh, I think we talked about that in the comic primer, didn't we? No.
No.
Did we not? Are you just making that up?
I'm absolutely making that up. But but prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Like there's like once again, if people get big and bad about the retcon of the arc reactor, prove me wrong. Show me where in the MCU that his mother is not from Sokovia.
I just almost blacked out from laughing because you just crushed me. She's from Sokovia. Yeah,
did you not know that? Did you not know that? It was a whole thing.
That they talked. That's why he did this.
Right.
It's the toaster.
Yes.
Ivan is the toaster.
And we have an episode title. Yeah.
Jeez, all right. So you lose.
So right, flashy red lights, and then they look around and they see all the flashy red lights, and then immediately Tony goes in his head like, "Oh man, that means all the drones are doing this."
Right.
Include not just the ones here, but like everywhere.
And Rhodey sees it in his heads up too, that they're getting it at the same time, right?
Right. So Rhodey says all these drones are rigged to blow. We got to get out of here, man. And Tony immediately says, "Pepper," and takes off. And Rhodey's like, "I'm out." It's like he's like, "Oh, he's gonna go. I'm just gone." He just later,
isn't it? And it's so clearly shown, like as you pan up and you see their contrails.
Yeah,
Rhodey's just gone, right?
Just got
and Tony
later.
Hard right, like
yep.
Now, okay. So we always talk about these graphics and stuff. Yep. I do think it's funny that you really get the idea that there must be some sort of cerebral connection with the suit,
yes,
and the wearer, and you get proof of it here because when you cut to the shot of Tony, you see him realize as he's putting this all together, you see his eyes like stop, and he thinks Pepper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You then see the graphics start to focus, and it says Pepper. It focuses on her, and then he says Pepper because the suit has heard his thought before he said it.
Ah.
So that explains a lot about how things like this, we've talked about this. How does the helmet retract? How does it know when to do all this?
Right.
There is some sort of impulse system that
neural interface. Yes,
exactly.
I agree. There has to be something like that there. Just even from just the reaction time. So the two of them take off, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is a picture wrap on Mickey Rourke. That's it. He's done. This is it. Yeah. One big, the big kaboom is coming, but this is his last shot as they're flying away. Is like him, laughing, I guess. That's it. So yeah. So this was, and this is the last we're going to see of it. Like I'm trying to think if they even mention Vonko in the rest of the. Oh, I guess maybe in some of the. I think they mentioned it in the Easter eggs, but I don't ever remember them mentioning it there. So This is last time. So. Yeah, as for what they gave him and for what they edited for, yeah, he did a pretty good job.
Oh, this works out. I think overall,
I the problems I have with Whiplash are not Mickey Rourke.
Right. Absolutely.
Totally I think I still think it should have been Crimson Dynamo, but
right.
Like if they were doing all this work to not have it be another guy in a suit fighting Tony, then explain to me the last 2 minutes.
Right. Yeah, you could have, and I still think we talked about this. Like, I think that would have been cool if his suit had been like this maroon, crimson color. It all would have made more sense.
Yeah.
So when they take off, we get our final, another thing that I believe is coming close to the wrap is our wonderful Kodak product placement.
That's right.
Tony swings by, and it's this great, quick CGI as he's going through the expo grounds. Kodak gets a prominent spot in this.
That's right, they do.
Nice job.
Oracle sort of was off to the side when the thing exploded, so Kodak gets the prime spot here. Then we see Pepper staying next to a drone that's destroyed on the ground in front of her going, "Hey, it's beeping red. Huh, wonder what that's about. Like, there's just a lot of like, the amount of confusion that's on her face is confusing to me.
Like
what? Like, I mean, like, it's... Yeah.
What does a red ominous beeping sound with light mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, well.
It's kind of funny.
I'm sure my ride will be here soon. Yeah.
And then we end with where we go to this exterior shot. We see her again looking down very quick. I didn't know what the word
quizzically, I think is what you're going for. Yeah.
Thank you. Quizzically. And we see the which by the way is funny. We see the Hammer Pavilion in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's no longer the Hammer Pavilion. it's the Ham Pavilion.
That's right.
I do kind of think that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then we just start to see Tony come into view.
That's right. Yeah, he's going to do something. We don't know. Maybe he's going to, fear the spear, Rob. You don't know. Maybe he's going to just like she would never expect it.
Can you imagine? Ouch. Why'd you do that?
What is the maneuver that can come out of nowhere? I can't remember.
RKO.
Yeah, there you go.
Randy Orton. RKO. Oh my God. Can you imagine this is an RKO out of nowhere? Like, he comes in, boom, and then takes off and blows up. The end.
Like, boom, and just off he goes.
Wasn't that funny?
RKO out of nowhere.
RDG. It's an RDG. That's what it is. RDG.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, exactly. That might have even been before that. Was
RDJ. No, RDJ. What am I saying?
Yeah.
I can't.
An RKO from RDJ.
Oh boy.
So you're saying
take another drink.
An RKO from RDJ would have been a KO on GP? Leaving her in a pile of her own goop. Oh! Bringing it around. Oh, this was supposed to be the Mickey Rourke tribute episode, and it turned into a whole nother thing.
My Lord. What have we become? People. After like 100, once you get in after the 110 minutes,
yeah,
you can't expect it.
No,
it's not the same thing.
Insightful commentary at this point. It's just.
What are you talking about? Okay, that's it.
That's right. For just the amount of letters I put together, I think that deserves 5 stars. So
yes, it
head
does.
to your favorite podcast catching place. Is it Spotify? Is it Apple Podcasts? Is it Google Podcasts? Is it Pocket Cast? Is it something that hasn't even been invented by the time of this recording? I don't know. But either way, let people know that you're enjoying the show. Put the stuff down, clicky-clack them keys, and say something nice about us, even if you want to just quote that, and then say, classic. Come on. That's all you gotta do. We'd be happy for it. Lets more people know about the show. Lets us know you're listening. We actually just got a review this week that made us very, very happy. So we'd appreciate it. And my favorite number of stars is 5.
5.
So make sure you're back here for minute 113 when we find out what that minute has to do with Jon Favreau's childhood home. Weird. You don't want to miss it. Enough said.
Bye.